Hey people, how are you doing? It's Makeda Valletta, live from northern Manhattan. Hold on. So, for those of you who, I'm live right now, walking down the street in New York City. For those of you who don't follow me or aren't familiar, just so you know, I'm a native New Yorker from the best part of New York, Upper Manhattan. Hold on, let me flip the camera. So I'm walking down the street, Upper Manhattan, you see? So like a little bar, restaurant, whole seating area. It's lit up here. This is, I'm on Broadway in Washington Heights. There's a whole bunch of restaurants across the street. But yeah, so I'm from New York, but I live in Chicago. I've been in Chicago for almost 8 years. So this is my 8th summer in Chicago, even though I'm in New York right now. So I want to compare the two summers because I love both cities. They both have their pros and cons. Chicago people swear summertime shy is the best. And what I will say about Chicago in the summer, it's unbelievably beautiful, okay? Hold on a second. Hold on. Loud ambulance going by. Hold on. Broadway. Okay. Look at this sign. Welcome to Washington Heights, uptown, okay? So I'm in Upper Manhattan, uptown. In case you don't know New York, you know, which way do I want to walk? In case you don't know New York, uptown is Upper Manhattan, okay? So Manhattan is an island. It's a borough. It's an island. And uptown is the northern part of the island. Downtown is the southern part. So when people come to New York City, they usually are downtown in a touristy area. Whereas the southern part of the island, which is very flat and doesn't have as many trees and parks as uptown. So if you ever come to New York, come uptown. Okay, now with that being said, it's now like 7:40 at night, so it's about to be dark soon. But when I left Chicago this morning, when I landed in New York this morning at like 9 a.m., it was 69 degrees in Chicago. See the fruit stands? New York has a lot of like markets and fruit stands and people selling flowers, and it's great. But hold on a minute. What street is this? Okay, so the thing what was I gonna say? That you know, when I landed in New York this morning, it was 69 degrees in Chicago. And it was like 82 in New York, okay? New York doesn't have any lows in the 60s in the summertime. So, yes. What'd you say? I'm good, thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you. See, in New York, you can get whatever you want, okay? As I'm walking down the street, there are barbershops, nail salons, fish markets, supermarkets, money transfer, like everything, and on both sides of the street. So it's the access, it's the energy. Like, I love the energy in the streets of New York. And there's different flavors depending on where you are, okay? I'm in Dominican land right now. Hold on, let me show you. People cooking on the sidewalk and all types of stuff, right? Now, anyhow, what am I saying? Yeah, so everybody I knew in New York and in DC kept complaining about how hot it was. Everybody in New York kept complaining about how hot it was, right? And New York can get extremely hot in the summer, extremely hot, extremely humid. I remember summer 2016, I had a friend from Miami who was in New York that summer, and she said she had never been that hot in her life. And I found it hard to believe, given the fact that she was from Miami, which is hot as a bitch. So I'm just trying to tell you, New York does get very hot. DC is even hotter, okay? It's like the East Coast, the whole East Coast gets hot and humid. And literally, as hot as it is in New York, you go south, 3 hours, get out the car, you feel the heat and the humidity get turned up. So you can feel how much it just gets hotter and more humid, and the sun gets stronger the further south you go, okay? So Washington, D.C. is even hotter. I feel like the sun in D.C. is very strong. I feel like the sun in New York is very strong. I feel like D.C. sun is stronger than New York. Both of them are stronger than Chicago. So it's like I knew that when I came to New York, I was probably going to, because I was complaining that Chicago wasn't hot enough. And I was like, when I come to New York, I'm probably going to wish I was in Chicago, because I know how miserable New York can get. Hold on. Let me show you. Just showing you some action on the street. People selling stuff. People always selling shit and barbecuing. Anyhow, this is not good light. This is the good light. Losing my train of thought. If you like a cooler summer, okay, if you don't like to be blazing hot and you don't like a lot of humidity, you will like a Chicago summer better. Sometimes, see, look, this is the very Dominican thing to be playing. I don't know if they're playing cards or whatever they playing on the sidewalk. They bring the tables and chairs. It's the whole event, okay? See, I just keep passing more and more stores. Like another fish market, okay? Look, another fish market. So it's just constant, like walking down the street. Then here's another deli. And these delis have a lot of good shit in them. Like, let me show you. Let me show you. Because you don't find this in any other city in the country. So I'm coming in a little corner store. They got these fresh lemonades, strawberry lemonade, orange lemonade, guava lemonade. This is actually really good. I've had this before. It's guava lemonade. You got 100% coconut water, never from concentrate. Okay, so you go to Whole Foods, you see that one brand with the green top. But you come into a New York bodega, you be having several options of like decent shit. You got all the Haagen-Dazs up in here. Let's see. There's just a lot of different. I'm not going to look through the whole thing because this is not my body sciences page. But the point is that when you're in other cities, any city in America, San Francisco might be the exception. It's been so long since I've been in San Francisco. I don't remember what they have in the stores. I just know they have a lot of them, like Manhattan. But when you're walking down the street in New York, like it'll be hot as shit. If you're thirsty, it's like every single block you have another deli, another bodega. And if you're looking for something, let's say I want 100% coconut water. If one store doesn't have it, another store will. And there's several stores in every block. Not only the delis and bodegas, but I pass several supermarkets. I pass people selling fruit on the sidewalk. And it's not just like that on Broadway. It's like that on Amsterdam. It's like that on St. Nicholas. It's like that on many other streets. So when you're walking around, moving around, you're like, oh, I'm hot. I want some fruit. I want something to drink. You can easily get it. Can't do that in Chicago. Now, I've been in Chicago for 7.5 years. So I'm used to it now. I'm used to thinking ahead and, But that's true, again, in most cities in America. Most cities in America don't have the deli game and the going shopping on the sidewalk game that New York has. So sometimes people wonder why people spend what they spend to live in New York and why would somebody want to live in New York and if we have so much access. Okay? Hold on, let me show you. I'm just trying to show you. Now I'm trying to zoom in. Hold on. But you see the people, oh, I can't zoom in. Oh yeah. See them sitting in the middle of the street, okay? Just sitting there hanging out, old men arguing. Okay, looks like the video was paused. But if you go down a couple of blocks, you have Riverside Park. So there's a whole huge park, actually both directions that are looking at the river, the East River, the Hudson River, up on the mountains. You can see the sunrise, the sunset. I mean, so there's an energy in the streets in New York. I just showed you a deli. Now here's another one right here. Okay, I smell so much weed. Okay. The smell of weed smells great, but it was always like that up here anyway. Okay, like the Heights, Harlem always had the most weed, the best weed is everywhere. And I don't even know if you just saw it just now. There's a meat market. When I was walking down the street just now, this dude was trying to stop me, trying to tell me how he got good smoke. Nowadays, I go to the dispensary, and I went to the dispensary before I came here. So, but weed has always been abundance uptown. If you've never seen Fat Fart Freddy's documentary, Grass is Greener, you should. Let me go this way now. So, this light sucks. Not a good light. So, New York has a lot of free concerts in the summer, okay? All summer long, there are free concerts in all the boroughs, really dope performers, world-renowned performers, okay, from every genre. It could be African stuff, Latin shit, hip-hop, dancehall artists, like, it doesn't matter, okay? We have dope performances all summer. Chicago has like mediocre things all summer that cost money. Yeah, Chicago, there's not a lot of free events in the summertime. And the type of stuff that happens, Chicago people may think it's cool, but to me it's just mid. But that's also, my bar is high being from New York. And anything that you want to find in New York, you can find it. Okay. So there's that. New York is so live in the summer. Okay. But so is Chicago. Okay. I would say that New York is even more lively just because there's more people here and more things. But Chicago will be lit in the summertime. Like, you know, I think that any city that has a winter, people really be outside when it gets warm. So that's true in both New York and Chicago. But New York's energy is just unmatched, period. See, got food trucks. I need to zoom back in. Now over here, you got a standalone fruit stand right over here. Let's see. And you see this all over New York. I mean, to me, I like the energy in New York and the people and all that. I like it. Okay. So you have standalone fruit stands like this everywhere in the city. You'll find this in the Bronx. You'll find it in Brooklyn. You'll find that in Queens, Manhattan, all over New York City. You got people selling fruit, like big standalone fruit stands on the sidewalk, on top of the abundance of supermarkets. Okay. Sometimes it'll be like on the same block. So, you know, there's a lot of dope block parties in New York. I feel like with Chicago, you know, you always hear bad news about Chicago. Like the 4th of July just happened. We all heard 100 plus people got shot over the weekend. And so Chicago always has this bad press where you'll think, oh my God, Chicago. So, like most people, when they think of Chicago, they think it's the murder capital. And oh my God, like I might get shot and it's so dangerous. But I've been in Chicago for almost 8 years, and I'm not ever going to say nothing has ever happened to me. I'm going to say that I have always felt safe. I've always felt safe in Chicago, right? Now, no matter where I go, because I've been to to a lot of cities that are dangerous. And a lot of cities in America and internationally are dangerous and worse than Chicago. Nothing has ever happened to me in any of those cities. Let me see. Do I want to go this way? No, I'm going to go this way. Nothing has ever happened to me in any of those cities, but a lot of it, I'm not going to say I'm invincible. And I'm definitely not going to say because I'm from New York, I'm invincible. Hold on. See, more fruit stands. So you could buy all kinds of fruit. Okay, I can smell the fruit. This shit smells so good. Okay, so I don't think there's another city in America where they just sell fruit, big old huge standalone fruit stands, and like block after block on top of the supermarket. Okay, so one thing about New York, no matter where you are in the city, we don't have food deserts. We don't have resource deserts. Okay, like there's clothing, everything. It's like every neighborhood got clothing stores, shoe stores, hardware stores, barbershops, nail salons, laundromat, supermarkets. Every single neighborhood. Okay, whereas Chicago and a lot of other cities in America, they don't just have food deserts, they have whole resource deserts. You go to the south side of Chicago, the west side, where it's predominantly Black American, not only is there no food, I don't be seeing barbershops, I don't be seeing cleaners, I don't see a coffee shop, I don't be seeing a supermarket. It's like a total resource desert. So the thing about New York, it's just a wonderful city to just walk around and enjoy. That's where my love of walking came from, which is why when I moved out of Chicago, not out of Chicago, when I moved out of New York, I thought I need to be in a walkable city. That was important to me. I can't be someplace where I'm in the car all the time. But in New York, it's very easy to walk because there's a lot to look at. And as you're walking, if you're thirsty or you're hungry or whatever, you can find stuff. Now, I'm a picky eater, so I don't eat out a lot of these places. But at least you have the option. I didn't appreciate that till I lived someplace else where there was no options. What the hell? This shit's closed off. Maybe I should walk down that hill. Yeah, I'm just gonna walk down this hill for a minute. I'm gonna walk down the hill and back up the hill. So where I'm at right now, Washington Heights. It is very hilly up here. You know, you got it's just the neighborhood is heavily Dominican with a little bit of Black American, and now you do have this is Boricua College. Now you do have some white people and Asians moving up here, but when people talk about something being gentrified, when you come up here, you know that you are in a Dominican neighborhood. This neighborhood has not changed at all since I was a kid, except now there's more Mexicans, and there's white people that you never saw them before, but they're not the majority. When you come up here, you know you're in a Dominican neighborhood. You're going to hear Dominican Spanish all day. It's going to be loud, and you're going to hear it everywhere. And then you have some Black Americans like myself, but a lot of times we don't look that different, and still Spanish is the dominant language up here. Okay? I want some. That shit look good too. But hold on. It's really a whole vibe. It's really a whole vibe up here. Okay? I think if you come to New York, you have to come uptown. I mean, like, not 125th Street. People always go to 125th Street. 125th Street, touristy. It's okay. You can see it, but there's doper places uptown. Anyhow. So it's just like New York and Chicago both have good public transportation. New York's public transportation is a lot better. Chicago's is better than every other city in America. I wouldn't take Chicago public transportation late at night. New York, there's no place I would be afraid to take the train to. No place. And it's funny how some people get surprised when they find out that New York is safer than Chicago. It's like, New York is one of the safest cities in the country, okay? Just go look up the stats. Go look at the list. Go Google the most dangerous cities in America. Oh, this is such a beautiful building. Look. I loved it. New York also has nice architecture. You probably can't see inside that lobby the stone. There's some great architecture over here. And even if you look, you see like it's kind of hilly, which I do like. Chicago's not very hilly, it's very flat. But you can get a good workout walking up these hills. Okay. Let me think. Okay, I'm gonna walk this way real quick and circle around. Okay. Sorry, as I'm walking I keep wanting to show you stuff. As a kid, I remember this building right here. My dad had a friend who lived in this building, and this building is divine. You walk in this building, there's a whole courtyard in there. Like, I mean, there are apartments in that building that are bigger than some people's houses, I swear. Huge. So people always think New York has these super small apartments. Even the apartment I grew up in was really big. I haven't really seen an apartment as nice as the one I grew up in, really anywhere. So there are some divine apartments in New York. It's just you won't find it if you're an outsider and you just moved here like in the past 20 years. No. So anyhow, you know, if you're into house music, hold on, let me see. Yes, everyone outside New York thinks it's a war zone, but being here this long, I've seen how this city has gotten safer over the years. Yes. I never even felt like when I was back in the 80s and 90s, when New York was supposedly bad, I never felt unsafe then. And a lot of people who grew up in the city, whatever city it is, they have these horror stories about, I got beat up and it was so rough and all my friends got killed and did it. That wasn't my story. Or my twin brother. I have a twin brother who is dark skinned and 6'2". And he got in a fight once in the first grade. Beat the dude up that was picking on him. Dude never fucked with him again. Became his friend. My brother never got into a fight again. Never got jumped. I never got jumped. Like none of that. So, and I didn't grow up in the suburbs. I went to New York City public school. And I had, oh God. People say that New York doesn't have alleys. Hold on. That's an alley right there. Well, Chicago people say that. Like, you guys don't have alleys. I'm like, we do have alleys. We just don't go in them like you do. Like, we don't use our alleys the way Chicago people use their alleys. And Chicago has more alleys, but New York has them. And even if New York had the alleys that Chicago has, we'd have more garbage because we have more people and more businesses. So it's another little cute little entrance way. Now, if you look at my Chicago videos, you see Chicago has like divine architecture, which is one of the things that I really love about the city. So I show that in my Chicago videos. But no, New York is people constantly think that Chicago is a murder capital. Now I will tell you, Chicago is a lot more dangerous than New York, even though it doesn't feel that way. Like, most people when they go to Chicago, they're like, it's so peaceful. It's such a peaceful vibe. And you wouldn't even know how bad it was if you didn't have friends from Chicago telling you about all the drama. Another alley. All I'm doing is walking past alleys. I just have to show it. There's another one over there too. I just had to show it for the Chicago people. Like, you guys don't have alleys. I'm like, we do. But it's just that Chicago alleys, they walk in them, they park in them. The alleys in Chicago are super clean. Like, New York alleys are for garbage and garbage only. And the only person going in the alley is the person who's dealing with the garbage. That's it. Okay? We don't walk in the shit. We don't park in the shit. We don't hang out. So, let me show you. I'm approaching the river. Let's see. I'm approaching the river. This is the Hudson River. Over here. And it's like, Manhattan is an island, and it really feels like you're on an island. Okay? Especially where I live, where it's the most narrow part of the island. So the East River and the Hudson River are both right here. Okay, so I'm walk across there real quick. Let's walk across. It's hard holding this camera, and I got my matcha that I'm trying to drink. So one thing about New York, and I'm not going to say it's all New York, but New York is an older city than Chicago. The buildings are older. I live in a Harlem landmark building. So when I got to New York, it was really hot, and guess what? There was no cold water in my parents' building all day. There was a sign, no cold water from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. And I'm like, what the fuck? And then it went from no cold water to no water for hours. And I'm like, it's way too hot for that shit. Stuff like that doesn't happen in Chicago. New York is always some shit don't work. But again, it's a much older city. So, now, right over there is the George Washington Bridge that goes to New Jersey. Okay, so that's New Jersey across the water. And this doesn't look very nice when you look down there because you just see cars, but actually this is like a parking lot. And on the other end of it, like if I was down there, you would see that there's grass and you can like literally sit by the river. I have videos where I sit by the river and I talk. But yeah, so that's New Jersey, that's the Hudson River. And it's so beautiful when you keep driving upstate. So it's just a wonderful place to come skate, jog, ride your bike, take a walk. You know, there's always people outside New York. It's very social, you know. So, you know, I feel safe in New York and I feel safe in Chicago. It's just how I move. Like, I feel safe in both cities, but with Chicago, it's like I feel safe in certain areas. Other areas of Chicago are just too desolate for me. So it's not even like I see people that are scary, but there's just parts of Chicago where there's like nobody outside. And for me to feel safe, I need to see people. If I'm someplace where it's like so desolate and it's dark and there's no businesses open, I don't feel safe. So New York is like so lively. Hold on, let me stop. I need to drink mine. Hopefully this highway's not too loud. I just need to stop for a second. I need to drink some of my matcha. He's carrying this shit. No coffee for me. Just matcha. But yeah, like, a lot of people be stuck in like New York 1990, and they think the city is still super dangerous, and no. And New York is not gun crazy like most of America. Most of America is very gun crazy. And so you hear a lot of stories in New York about people getting stabbed up. Probably have more stabbings in New York than shootings. Not saying people don't get shot, but I'm just saying it's not like most other American cities. And I'm gonna tell you, Chicago has not been the murder capital. I've been in Chicago for almost 8 years. Not 1 year has it been the murder capital. You know what has? St. Louis, Detroit, Baltimore, and Memphis be up there in the top 5 for sure. Philly is worse. Atlanta be placing above Chicago. Birmingham, Alabama, New Orleans. I think I said Philly already. And Philly looks, I mean, no offense to my Philly people, but Philly be looking dusty and dangerous. Chicago doesn't look dusty and dangerous. Chicago is actually a very beautiful city. So I like showing that too. I like showing how beautiful Chicago is because, you know, people always hear negative, and they come, they're surprised at how beautiful the city is. But with New York, I have a slight headache, sorry. My head. Okay. With New York, people think like, oh, everybody's so mean, which is not true. And it's so dangerous, and and it's so dirty, and yes, there's dirty parts, but the whole city is not dirty. People in New York will help you if you need help. If you're walking around New York and you need help with something, you lost, you got a question, people in New York will go out of the way to help you. You can ask one person and a bunch of people will jump in the conversation. Hold on a minute, let me show you something. So now this is rivers, these trees and shit. This is from a park called Riverside Park. So I was telling you, I don't know if you can see, but you see the highway, that's the West Side Highway. Down there, you could be sitting right on the river. You get there by going underneath the highway. It's beautiful down there. And this park, Riverside Park, see the lush trees? New York got a bunch of big grown trees. We don't have all them baby trees. Like Chicago has Chicago has grown trees on the sidewalk, but in the parks, all the trees are little baby trees, which I hate. Baby trees to me are so not cute, because I'm trying to clean them. If I had an Android, the picture would be so much better, but I think you can see the thick green trees. I gotta get the lighting, see? Lots of trees. This is a nice park right here. But anywho, let me get through my points. This video is about summers in New York versus Chicago. And the main points is that New York has so much dope energy. New York has a lot of free performances. New York is hotter, okay? Some people may like that, some people may not. It's more humid here and the sun is stronger. Temperatures are higher than in Chicago. And part of that is because Chicago has the lake, and they always talk about the lake effect, which I don't completely understand what that is. Hold on. See, now, if I wanted to, I'm not going to do it, but I could walk down there. I don't know if you can see, but that goes down. So New York parks have levels. Like, you can walk down to that level and then down to a lower level, and then you come out, you're walking up the stairs, you're walking up the hills. So it's just like a workout to walk around. Oh, here we go. Another path. Whew, it stinks over here. To walk down, okay? Riverside Park. If you come to New York, you gotta check this park out. This park goes from like 72nd Street all the way up to, I don't even know where this shit ends at. I came on it at like 158th. That's almost 100 blocks. And I don't even know where the park ends. So it's like a park that goes for like 100 blocks. And it has multiple levels to it. Okay? So right now I'm on a street called Riverside Drive, which is a very nice street. So anyhow, as I was saying, both cities are walkable. Chicago does have a lot of, like on a Friday and Saturday night, it's definitely lit outside, different neighborhoods. More people get shot in Chicago in the summertime, so it's less safe, okay, than New York. Hold on a minute. See, if you ever seen New Jack City, you've seen one of these staircases. It was up here that they filmed New Jack City. I'm about to end this video because I know I've been talking a lot. Sorry, somebody keeps calling me. Anyhow, New York's park culture is unmatched. So Chicago is a lot of people on the beach. Chicago does have a beach. It's Lake Michigan, but it looks like the ocean that runs alongside the whole length of the city from north to south. So a lot of people be on the beach in Chicago. But New York also has beaches because we are in the Atlantic Ocean. I just don't go to the beaches. So if you're in the Bronx or Brooklyn or Queens, a lot of beaches. No beaches in Manhattan. For depending on where you live in the city, you could say there's a beach culture. But where I live in the city, there isn't, but it's more of a park culture. And I love New York City parks. And Upper Manhattan has a lot of dope parks. So people, we use the parks. We be in the parks. And our parks have, I talk about them in almost every New York video. Our parks have levels to them. So Chicago parks are very flat. Like it's one level, very flat, little strategically planted baby trees. So you can't really go in the park and have privacy and be in the cut. You could do that in New York. You can go, there's big rocks to sit on. It's like the bush. It's like natural and nature. So you can definitely go in New York City Park and just be in your own universe and have privacy, really. I also think you got the old people out here playing. I think New York is a good city for someone who's aging. I think it's a good city for kids too. Because as a kid, you get exposed to so much interesting shit. But as an aging person, there's so much you can engage yourself in. You walk. Most Americans don't walk at all. So you'll walk more. There's a lot of interesting things, artistic events and just things that stimulate your brain and your body. So to me, I wouldn't want to retire in some small southern town and then you'd be all sedentary and shit, wasting away. I would rather grow old here. So anyhow, I think I made my points about New York and Chicago. I'm trying to think. Is there anything I haven't said? Both cities, people be outside. They just be outside a little bit more in New York because New York does have more people, more shit going on. But both cities, Chicago, I'm gonna tell you, has a very lit nightlife on a Friday and a Saturday. Okay. New York has more free events. Like New York will have Dance Africa and the African Street Festival. All that stuff is free. Chicago, they have similar things. They're going to be charging you $30. So it's annoying. And sometimes they want you to buy tickets in advance and you don't even know if you're going to go to the shit. So, but I'm going to stop talking. I was doing this video as I was walking. But I have like a slight headache. And I think I've talked enough. My phone's about to die. But this video was just about New York summer versus Chicago. Oh, hold on. I'm just going to show you one more flash of the park and all the, people be acting like New York don't have no trees and shit. When actually New York has more trees than most major cities in America. See how dense this shit is? It's like you're looking at the woods. This is New York City, Manhattan. It's like a whole habitat. Now think about Chicago. They be having these habitats on the sidewalk. Like people be having a habitat in their whole front yard and shit. Okay. So Chicago has, like, I love New York City park culture, but I always say Chicago has that shit like on the sidewalk. Okay. It's totally legal. Both cities have a lot of parks for kids, a lot of playgrounds, a lot. Yeah. So I'm on my travel page, Makeda Balloon Travels. I haven't been making as many videos because number one, I've been busy. Sometimes I want to make videos about certain things and I just don't have time. But also, I haven't been traveling as much as I usually do because of school. Hold on, let me get out the street and not get hit. Hold on. I'm done with school now, but I'm still dealing with the aftermath of it. I'm still recovering. So hopefully in the fall I can get back to traveling more. But I will be going to Colorado next month. It'll be my third time in Colorado. Going there for a cannabis research conference. So I'll talk about Colorado. See, look. Oh. I don't know if you can see how steep this hill is. But it's pretty steep. So if I had gone down into the park, to the lake, not the lake, the ocean, not the ocean, the river, I would have had to walk all the way out to get just to the level I was just on. And now, gotta walk up another steep hill just to get to Broadway. Okay, so this area is called Sugar Hill. It's very hilly. And I don't think this camera is showing the depth of how steep this hill is. I don't know if you can see. Like, I feel like I'm doing lunges up the street. It's so steep. My head. Hold on. It's making my head hurt. I have a headache from not getting enough sleep last night and then not drinking caffeine, because caffeine is addictive, okay? And I drink it every day, but I drink it in the form of tea and not coffee. So this right here, caffeine. And I waited too long in the day to drink it. I didn't drink it earlier because I knew I needed to go to sleep, because I hadn't gone to sleep, so I wasn't trying to drink caffeine. Then I wake up with a headache because of caffeine will drink. So let me stop trying to walk and talk. If you want to know, I'm going to use some cannabis oil when I get in the house. So if you want to know more about that, follow me on my page, The Body Scientist, where I talk about health stuff. Because I do not take Advil or any of that. But it's time for me to get off the camera. You got the gist of the video. I feel like when I'm done, I'm going to remember some shit that I meant to say that I didn't say. It always happens, but I'm going to leave it here for now. So have you spent summer in New York and Chicago? Oops, sorry. Have you spent a summer in New York or Chicago and Chicago, whatever? Please leave your 2 cents about what I'm talking about. To me, the energy in New York is unmatched and it's so inspiring to me. But yeah, I'm going to finish my walk and I'll see you guys later, okay? Make sure you follow me on YouTube, Makeda Travels, and on IG, Makeda Travels, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.